Let me know if you guys can hear me. We should be good. Audio should be fine. Just going to give it a second to make sure it's all hooked up and doing what it's supposed to do, because it's YouTube. I would say it's Monday, but it's Tuesday, but sometimes Tuesdays feel like Mondays. So we're just going to hold out for 2 seconds. I'm going to take a sip of my drink. Listen, we're going to jump into a whole lot of stuff, but first, don't judge me. But Starbucks summer drinks are ridiculously good. This is their summer berry refresher. My kid makes me get this. This is why I have this. My kid made me get it. This is the only time that straight men should ever have balls in their mouth, because it's got these little popping boba balls at the bottom. Y'all, delicious. Diabetes in a cup for sure, and $7, a huge effing waste of money, but delicious nonetheless. So please hold. Okay, y'all ready for this? Look. We're just going to jump right into stuff. I had a conversation with myself this morning, because I talk to myself a lot. And I said, hey, self, quit giving two shits about what YouTube thinks about how you do your videos or your live streams, or what you think they want to hear, or whatever else. Just, as I like to say, you do you, boo. So that's what we're going to do today. I will, of course, attempt not to drop the F-bomb. I will not give you any promises on other words, but I will try to tone down the F-bomb, because I am classy, despite people thinking I'm trashy. I don't really care, but I will try. No promises. And if it slips out, hate it for you. So here we go. These are the things I want to talk about today. Tons of different things. Y'all ready for this? So many different things. I have an upload that I'm going to do later that you're going to want to watch. It has a lot to do with President Trump and Walmart, and some trolling action that's going on there. So make sure you guys watch that later. It'll probably be at like, I don't know, like 7 Central Time when I upload it. Maybe, possibly, maybe a little bit later. Either way, if you're up a little bit later and want to watch it, it'll be there. Okay, so let's talk about a couple things. I want to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go with this one. So you guys know how when President Trump was running for president, he was like, listen, no tax on tips. Huge, no tax on tips, right? And people were like, well, he's not going to do it. And other people are like, it's a horrible idea. Why should I have to pay taxes on what I earn, but people who make tips shouldn't pay taxes on their tips? That's absolutely stupid. Hey, I understand both sides of that argument. It's a double-edged sword here, okay? But think about this. President Trump saying no tax on tips does give servers and people in tip-based industries a kind of push to stay where they are, as opposed to quitting and leaving. We've talked about this numerous times, that restaurants, as much as we'd like them to be hourly, if they were hourly and no tax, no tips, you're going to get shit-ass service. That's just how it works, unfortunately. We've been in all those kind of restaurants where if it's not a merit-based kind of thing, your server comes over and takes your order, drops off your food, and you might see him again for the check at the end, or you have to wave somebody down, get up and go look for somebody. Not always, but right, sometimes that happens. Whereas if they are working for tips, generally speaking, you're going to get better service because their paycheck depends upon it, right? So when President Trump, before he was president, was campaigning on the no tax on tips, it was a very big deal in a positive and negative way for a lot of people. Well, the Senate has just agreed with President Trump that there should be no tax on tips, to 100-0 vote. 100% people said yay, 0 said nay. I don't even know how often that happens, but promises made, promises kept. We are at, this will be backwards because, it's a live stream, but we are at no tax on tips right there. It has been approved. And if you happen to be in a tip-based industry, I guess thank President Trump, because this is huge for people in a tip-based industry. For everybody else who has issues with it, let's say you are working a 9-to-5 hourly job, or even a not 9-to-5, because a lot of hourly jobs are just random times, right? It's not your normal in a high-rise 9-to-5. So whatever, wherever you are, and you're making, pull a number out my butt, let's say $14 an hour. You're getting taxed on your $14 an hour. Now, let's say you're a server who gets paid $10 an hour, but you're making buku in tips. You're still going to get taxed on your $10 an hour. That does not change. You just won't be taxed on the things that are left for you tip-wise, your credit card tips, because nobody's claiming their cash tips. You'd have to be completely stupid as all get out to claim your cash tips. If you're claiming cash tips, you might want to reevaluate your life, because that whole point in cash tips is because you can slide it in your pocket and keep on trucking, and the government doesn't need to know, right? So for people who are upset that they're not going to get taxed on tips, they are still getting taxed on whatever their hourly rate happens to be, whatever their paycheck happens to be. So it's not like they just, off scot-free. It's not how it works. There will still be taxing. It's just what's left on a credit card won't be taxed. So again, it's an incentive for people to stay in these service-based industries like restaurants and barbershops and nail salons and things like that. Although barbershops, hair salons, nail salons, they're already expensive as all get out. Sometimes it hurts paying that extra percentage on for a tip. It's like, I just paid you like $60 for like nails or whatever, or pedicure or whatever, and now I got to tip extra on top of it. It's painful. But if you can't do it, don't go get it done. That's how I personally feel about it, only because I have worked in the service industry for numerous years of my life before being in corporate America, before being a business owner, all these other things, right? And every time you can, leave a cash tip, because as always, cash is king. It is much better for everybody if you leave a cash tip. Think about it this way also, which I think a lot of people don't think about, which is why I'm going to remind you. If you are paying for your meal with a credit card, they now charge you, the restaurants are charging you that extra 3%, generally speaking, 2.5% to 3.5% to use your credit cards, because where restaurants before COVID, before the Biden-Harris administration came through and just completely effed up the economy, before that, if you were paying with a credit card, a lot of these businesses were eating the cost of it. The restaurants, they were eating the cost of the credit cards. And like through Amex, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, whatever, they were paying them that 3% at the end of the month for all the credit card transactions that were run. Well, then over COVID, because of inflation, because of supply chain issues, because of everything else, these businesses were like, hey, we have got to stop eating that cost, because then it's going to make it hard for us to stay in business. So they decided to give that credit card cost to the consumers, especially if people are using Amex, because Amex has one of the highest credit card run fees for businesses and whatever, right? So not only if you go out to eat and you pay with a credit card, you're paying that extra 2.5% to 3.5% to run your credit card. But if you put a tip on there also, now you're paying interest on not only your meal, but the tip that you left behind. So if your meal's, $90 and you leave an extra 20 on top of it, for $110, you're paying on top of that 3% to run the card. Well, 93, the tip is not whatever. Anyway, so you're paying the 3 whatever percent on top of that, plus whatever interest your credit card happens to have. The higher your amount you're putting on your credit card, the higher interest payment you're making. Like, try not to, as much as possible, not always feasible, 100% positive or aware of that, not always feasible. I use credit cards a lot of times when I go out to eat, only because I get perks and cash back, but then I go home and I pay them so that I don't get the interest on them, right? If you can't do it that way, try not to use credit cards unless it's absolutely necessary. But as often as you can, tip in cash, pay in cash, especially at mom and pop places. These big chains, F them, right? Like, that's how I feel. Whatever. But the mom and pop places, if you can pay them in cash, that's more money that stays in their business as opposed to getting distributed out throughout the banks and the stuff because of the credit cards and how that all works. So that's that. So Trump has done the no tax on tips, right? The next one here that I would like to bring up to you, ready, is that just about an hour ago, good old President Trump has unveiled his plans to build a massive missile shield system to protect the U.S. What is that, like the Iron Dome? Isn't that the name that people are calling it, the Iron Dome? It says the project echoes Ronald Reagan's failed Star Wars program, and experts say it could cost billions of dollars depending upon how it's set up. And it says here, it'll be called the Golden Dome because, Donald Golden, whatever. But this is the little picture that came out with ABC with his, I personally am a fan of the Donald Trump smirk. I don't know why. I kind of am. At the same time, it also reminds me of Pascal from Tangled, which is the little lizard that flicks his tongue out a lot. It's kind of the same face that Donald Trump makes. I don't know who made it first, Donald Trump or Pascal the lizard in Tangled, which is a Disney movie, by the way. It's a cartoon, whatever. I don't know who did it first, but Donald does it better, and that's what matters. So we've got that. And then we have lots of good stuff here. So many things to talk about. I'm not going to talk about Diddy. Please understand it. I'm not going to talk about Sean Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, whatever, and everything he's doing. I can't have that conversation. Doesn't matter what channel it is, here or SquirrelTribe 2.0. It'd probably make more sense over there because of what the conversation is, but I can't do it because there's no way I could not have F-bombs. I would be as trashy as you think I am while talking, because that's a conversation that I'm surprised he is still breathing. I'll put it to you like that. Cassie's husband is amazing, but I'm surprised Diddy is still breathing, and I will move on from that. So we're just not going to do it again. So yesterday, if you guys watched yesterday's live stream, last night's, I did a live stream, and I talked to you about how First Lady Melania Trump, because I still don't know if I'm supposed to put all 4 words in there or not, but First Lady Melania Trump had put out this thing about wanting to, I don't remember what it's called. There was a name for the bill, whatever. We talked about it. Basically making it illegal for you to post explicit images without somebody's consent of that somebody, right? And so today, President Trump and First Lady Melania, they put it into law. Actually, I have it here somewhere. Please hold. I do have it here. I forgot I saved it. Where are you? Please hold. We'll talk about Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, and then that, and then that. Trump administration, Ashley Babbitt. Where'd it go? I had it. Maybe I didn't save it. Either way, he signed it. President Trump signed it today about how you can't have, you can't post somebody else's, whether it's your homemade, prawn. I don't think I'm supposed to say porn, so we'll say prawn. Although I just said it, it's fine. You're not supposed to post that up without the other person's consent. You're not supposed to take their pictures and post them up. You're not supposed to do any of these other things, right? Like, it's been signed into law now by President Trump after First Lady Melania Trump brought it up and said she wanted to have that done. Well, after that, where is it? Okay, so Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace plans to show her unclothed body on the floor of Congress today. This was 4 hours ago. I don't know if she's done it. I did not look for an update on that. If she did, the Take It Down bill. Thank y'all. I love y'all. You're great. Take It Down Act, Take It Down bill. One of the two. Either way, I love y'all for filling in the blanks for me over here. But according to this, Nancy Mace says she alleges that her former fiance recorded her without her consent and possesses over 10,000 explicit videos and photos. Her going naked on the Congress floor, I don't really know what that's going to accomplish. I mean, she looks amazing, so get it, girl, right? Like, whatever. I don't know exactly what that will accomplish, but I would love it if she was like, hey, Congresswoman Sarah McBride, how about you do it too? And then people would be like, that's a Tim McBride right there. But anyway, that's not the point. So, because Nancy Mace has been against Sarah McBride the whole time, because Sarah McBride is Tim McBride, and Tim McBride should not be in Nancy Mace's bathroom. But anyway, I digress. So she says she's going to go naked on the Congress floor of Congress today to kind of prove a point, or it's one of those take it back kind of things, like for herself. If she puts it out there, at no point in time can that person who has these photos or whatever of her use it against her, because it's already out there. She's already put herself out there. She took the sting out of it, right? Or she took the wind out of his sail, or the steam out of his fire, whatever the phrase is. I don't know. The downside here is that she would have to do that. Like, that's where the downside is, because at no point in time should a woman have to show any part of herself just to make it so it's not lucrative or oh, what's the word? Not backstabbing, but lucrative or brain. Vengeful from somebody else. Like, if she does it, there's no oomph to whatever he could possibly do. But again, it sucks that there's ever a time where somebody feels the need to do that so that somebody can't do that to them. Right? Like I said, if y'all were here yesterday, we had a whole conversation about the Take It Down bill, Take It Down Act, and sexualize. There we go, Sarah. Thank you. My brain. That's why you're here. But I think that what she's trying to do makes perfect sense. And if the people in Congress have an issue with it, like if she were to just, hopefully she has on some heels, butt naked and a pair of heels, that would be a great, right? But either way, if she does it and people in Congress have a problem with it, it just proves the point that nobody should be out there like that without consent, right? Like, that's how I feel. Anyway, so that was another thing that was going on. And then, y'all, but wait, there's more, because there's always more. They are saying now that, let's go back over to Joe Biden, Jill Biden, all that stuff. They're saying now that Trump officials are saying Jill Biden could be charged with elder abuse for Joe Biden's prostate cancer cover-up. which a lot of people have said should be the case. Like, everything that she allowed to happen and the way she paraded him around. Now, obviously, he is the president, obviously was a president, and she was the first lady. She kind of had to do some of the things that she did. Like, he had to go on the debate. He had to go to these other things. So she had to be there with him. I mean, it was extremely demoralizing, disrespectful. What's the right word? That after the debate where he got trounced by President Trump, where she was like, you did so good. You answered all the questions. Ugh, like, oh gosh. Like, I don't even talk to my dog like that after he craps in the right spot. Like, who does that? And the way she talked to him, absolutely ridiculous. But at the end of the day, she did what she was supposed to do, had to do, was told to do, whatever, because he was her husband or is her husband, whatever. And she was the first lady, right? But now they're saying that it is elder abuse and that they could potentially go after her for that. I'm not going to say I agree or disagree with it because I can see both sides of it. So I'm going to sit my happy ass right on the fence because I am on no side of this one. Right on the fence is where I'm going to hang out because I don't have a yes or no on if she should be prosecuted or brought to justice for elder abuse because of the position that she was in and who her husband was, right? Like, that's how I feel about it. I don't like being in that position where I don't know yes or no, like whatever. It was definitely elder abuse though. It definitely was. No matter how you look at it, it was definitely elder abuse. What's even crazier, but wait, there's more. Let me find it. Please hold. Wait. Here it is. I have found it. You ready? The Biden team, you ready for this? The Biden team says the last time Joe Biden received a PSA test for prostate cancer was in 2014, which is absolute bullshit. And even CNN is calling it out. Listen, CNN happens to say, you know, there's something crazy when CNN is starting to sound reasonable, right? When they're starting to say the things that the people with brain cells, Republicans and conservatives, have been saying for the longest time. When CNN and MSNBC start to parrot the right and agree with the right, something has gone horribly wrong for the left, right? So this is like a minute and some change long, but just take a listen to this if I can get it to play.
A Biden spokesperson tells me that former President Joe Biden, his last known PSA, which is a screening that could be used for prostate cancer, was conducted in 2014, and that he was never diagnosed with cancer before the Friday diagnosis that was handed from his doctors. Now, to give you a bit of a background, the PSA test checks the blood for levels of a protein called prostate-specific antigen that might indicate the presence of prostate cancer. Many medical associations say that whether to have this test is something that's usually determined between a patient and their doctor, and independent experts who have reviewed some screening studies for the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommend against screening for prostate cancer for men 70 and older. So in 2014, Biden would have been in that 71, 72 age range. Now, this new disclosure from Biden's spokesperson comes as President Donald Trump and some of his allies have questioned why Biden's cancer diagnosis was not revealed earlier. On Friday, Biden received that diagnosis of prostate cancer, which has spread to his bones. His office disclosed that on Sunday, and now they are providing a bit more background into what some of his previous screening has been like, saying that last PSA, the last known PSA, was in 2014 when he was vice president.
All right, Arlette, stay with us. I want to discuss this with our panel. Jamie Gangel, we're getting this news, and it was 2014, the last time he was tested. And yes, there are these medical guidelines recommended against testing age 70 and up, but he was president of the United States. I find it very surprising.
I think a lot.
Okay, look. He was president of the United States. You really think they're not going to test him for everything under the sun? What's even crazier, oh, I saved it. Where is it? What's even crazier is why they say, because look, here's the problem. They can't get their damn story straight. They can't get their story straight. Also, this was Biden's doctor. I'll just leave that with you right there. Okay. So now wait, where is it? Ha, this is the one I wanted. All right, look, we're just going to play some more stuff. This is mental gymnastics for them to try to cover up everything that's been going on, to try to excuse it away, explain it away, make it okay, and sweep it under the rug as quickly as possible. Listen, ready? But there's more.
Thought it took a while to do that. Wouldn't he be getting regular checkups?
Yeah, so it depends on the kind of cancer you're talking about here. We do know it's quite aggressive again. So the time in which it would take to spread to the bones is going to be shorter than with a less aggressive cancer. And he's 82. Normally, doctors will stop screening for prostate cancer at 75 or so, because after that, the prostate cancers you typically pick up are very slow growing. And so the harms of all of the testing and treatment for something that may not kill you, you're talking about risk versus benefit. It may not be worth the risk.
Isn't there a blood test that men can take to know if they have an issue that might warrant further examination?
So there's something that we call a PSA test, but that can also be indicative of many different things. It could just be you have an enlarged prostate. Maybe you have a low-grade infection in the prostate. There are many things that can cause that. And so this is, again, why after a certain age, doctors will typically stop screening for prostate cancer.
Wow.
But in his case, it's not screening. It's important to emphasize this was diagnostic because he had urinary symptoms. And so there was a reason to do more testing.
Quickly, what is your final message to men of a certain age?
Well, men of a certain age, you need to be seeing your primary care doctor for regular exams. And it's not just for prostate cancer.
Okay, so she said 75. The first one said 70 years old, right? And then she said, now I got to try to remember what the hell she said. She said, Biden is 82. She said that after or before, God dang it, that they don't test after a certain age because it's such a slow moving cancer. And then she says, but this one was a turbo cancer. It was like super fast. They couldn't have caught it until they just did the test. It's like, which one is it, honey, boo-boo? Is it slow moving or is it fast as fudge? Which one? Because it cannot be both. It literally can't be both. It has to be one or the other. And so them chasing their own tails, trying to catch something that's going to work and make the people go, I see, I believe you. It's not working. It's not. First, she says, it's really quite expensive. He's the president. Please test him for everything, every single time necessary, like every 3 months, 6 months. If I'm supposed to go to the dentist every 6 months to make sure that my teeth are good or whatever else, don't you think the president should have certain things tested on him very often to make sure he's good? If we are spending billions of taxpayer dollars on illegal immigrants and their food and their housing and their money and their cell phones, I'm pretty sure as taxpayers, we could spend just a little bit of money on the president's health care. We spent it for illegal immigrants. Why not spend it on the president? Like, I have so many questions on how this actually truly works because these people are lying. They're either lying that he has cancer and he doesn't have anything and he's just going to croak from dementia, or they're lying about how long he's actually had cancer, because there's no reason that they would not have been testing. She said that the PSA, if they did the PSA test, that it could show it was just an enlarged prostate. It could show blah, blah. So there's no point in doing it because he didn't have symptoms. Well, if you do the PSA and it shows there might possibly be an enlarged prostate, guess what you're going to do then? You're going to go check the prostate. You're going to go make sure that it's just an enlarged prostate and it's not something more. So if they had been doing the PSA test, like they probably should have been doing, even though they're like, we don't need it after 70 or 75, whatever, prostates still get cancer at those ages. Maybe they're thinking you're old and, just, go ahead and kick the bucket. If that's how they're thinking about it, they all suck. But either way, if they had done the PSA, like they said they didn't do, if they had done it and saw anything, they would have had a reason to go test for more. And maybe they could have caught this prostate cancer. I'm gonna start doing this now. This prostate cancer before it became something level stage 4, Gleason 9, whatever the crap that means, that has metastasized. Look, I can't do it. Even when I'm trying to look at the word metastasized, that feels right, but it also feels really stupid and wrong. Either way, they would have been able to catch it sooner if they had been doing their job, especially since they're claiming they didn't know. Or they've known the whole time and they're trying to cover their asses on why they pretend like it didn't happen until Sunday, right? And why do they keep giving us Joe Biden information on Sunday? He got COVID on a Sunday, which he didn't, but that's when they told us about it. He dropped out of the Democrat presidential race on Sunday, where somebody signed his name because he never underlines his name, but his name was underlined on the paper, but whatever. And it wasn't on White House letterhead, but that's not the point anymore. All these things happen on Sundays. And I think it's because on a Monday, if they were to release it on a Monday, people would have questions immediately. If they release this information on a Sunday, it gives them time to see how everybody's going to react so that they can get all their stories straight on Monday when they come out with whatever BS they're going to feed to the public. That's how I feel about it. That's why you do it on a Sunday. You don't do it on a Saturday because then you have 24 hours for people to figure out you're full of sugar, honey, iced tea. So you do it on Sunday. There's just a little bit of time. And by Monday, they have figured out how to lie to you even more. So there's that. Oh, on top of that, y'all, this happened earlier. I didn't check back to see what was going on here. So maybe I shouldn't bring this to you because this is from 3 hours ago and I don't know what the newest update is. I'll tell you anyway, if you guys happen to know, let me know because I did not look for new information on it. But this was earlier today, about 3 hours ago in San Diego. That's Hawaiian Airlines that landed at the San Diego airport. What is it called? San Diego International Airport. Federal law enforcement officers are surrounded that plane. No clue why, not sure why, just that there's a lot of law enforcement. They have nothing else going in or out of the airstrip at that time. And so I'm just kind of curious what was going on there, but I didn't look to see for an update. I forgot I had saved this. So if you guys have seen anything about that with San Diego and the airport, let me know because I'm kind of curious what was going on there. I'm going to keep it bookmarked so I don't forget to check back later. The other thing that had happened was, look, let me tell you the other thing that had happened. I'm going to play some Megyn Kelly for you for just a second because we're already in the habit today of playing other people's videos. Might as well keep it trucking, right? Or keep it going. So End Wokeness posted this over on X. And this is Megyn Kelly basically handing, what's his name, Jake Tapper, his ass. So I want you to listen to this. I can get the volume up. When I do this, y'all can hear it okay, right? Because like I try to put the iPad so you can see it, but then my microphone's here and this thing's up here, so I'm trying to get it so you can hear it too. So hopefully it works out well. I've never actually paid attention to see if you guys can hear everything okay or not, but listen to this.
You covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seemed to be running cover for the president.
I don't think interested. That's true.
Well, I mean, we'll start with the Laura Trump issue that you referred. Here it is. This happened in 2020.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
you are
to watch somebody on stage search for
so amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
Do you want to apologize to Laura Trump now?
Look, if I could meet anybody, I'm telling you, I would want to meet Megyn Kelly because she's like a classy bitch, like in like the best way possible. Like, I like it. Jake Tapper is trash, but I was very happy with what she did there. So somebody said, I saw the comments, you guys said it was a bomb threat on the plane, which I don't know why people still do this crap. Like, you don't have a bomb. Did they actually have a bomb though? But there was it turned out not to be credible. Nothing suspicious was found. Thank you, LJ. I think it's absolutely stupid. I feel like if you call in a bomb threat and they can figure out who you are, take your ass to jail and let you sit there and then put you in the part with the people who like just murdered other people. You know, let them have some fun, and that'll teach you not to do that shit again, right? At least it should. It should teach you not to do it again. The other thing, okay, so what time is it? Y'all ready to go yet? We've been here 30 minutes. Or you want me to keep going? Because I'll do whatever y'all want, whatever's best for you. I can run my mouth for hours, y'all. Well, I have a thing at 6, so I'm not going to run my mouth that long. But we can keep going, or we can call it done. Anybody care? I'm waiting for one person to say go or stay. I see Sarah commenting, but nope, this is nothing. Keep going. All right, that's all I needed was one. I'm in it. All right, so I saw this today. Rapid Response 47 on X, which is a White House X account. They posted up where Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, she took questions from kids during the Take Our Sons and Daughters to Work Day at the White House. And I'm going to show you that in a second. But first, I want to show you Donald Trump, President Trump, dancing to the YMCA at Take Our Daughters and Sons to Work Day. I'm not going to play the song because, you know, copyright and all that fun stuff. But here's President Trump dancing. I get myself hiccups because I talk too fast and I don't breathe or whatever. But those are all the kids from Take Your Son and Daughter to Work Day. And President Trump went out there to meet them all and see them all. And then they had a little moment where they got to be the peanut gallery. No, the media and whatnot. What is the press? What's it called when they do that? The press junket? Is that right? No, it feels wrong too. Either way, this is what happened there. Let's see. Oh, this is 13 minutes long. So I'm just going to show you, there's Caroline Leavitt. We're not going to play 13 minutes of this. And then hold on. There's the kids doing their thing. They get to ask the questions. It's absolutely friggin' adorable. And because Caroline Leavitt, press briefing, love y'all, thank you. And because Caroline Leavitt is a mom, she talks to the kids like, you know, like they are small human beings and not just idiots, right? Like, I'm not a fan of people, no offense to people who do this, but I'm not a fan of people who talk to little kids the same way they talk to animals. You know what I mean? Where you use that sugar sweet voice and you do all this. Unless you're a grandma, that is the only time it's allowed. It's the only time you can talk to kids like this and they're just so cute. And they're like, if you're actually like a person talking to a child, don't talk to them like they're stupid or a puppy. I can guarantee you they're sitting there looking at you going, once I'm old enough, I'm putting you in a home. Like that kind of thing. Talk to kids like they're the tiny humans that they are, not whatever, right? So I'm actually going to repost this right now over on X, the question thingy, since it's 13 minutes long. If anybody wants to see it, it is reposted over on X for you guys to watch. I want to show you this, but it's going to piss some people off. So I don't know if I want to show it to you, but I kind of want to. But it's kind of going to piss some people off. Look, it's not on purpose. I'm not purposely trying to piss you off. But when I saw this, because Shane tagged me in this on X. Listen, you ready? This is the kind of girl that if my daughter was friends with her, which she wouldn't because my daughter's not stupid. If she was friends with her, I'd be like, push her in front of a car. And I mean that in the nicest way humanly possible. Ready?
I'm not free, and I won't forgive the men who lied and took my rights from me. And I'll stand up against your throne and curse her to this day, 'cause there ain't no doubt I used to love this land, but goddamn, fuck the USA.
Nobody came.
So there's that. Somebody made it. Somebody sang it. This dumb bitch recorded herself singing it and reposted it. Look. I smile like this when I'm about to snatch somebody bald. So here's the thing. Just because your president lost, just because your nominee lost, doesn't stop the fact that you are an American. And I hate to be the one to do it, but if you don't like it here, take your ass somewhere else. Leave. Go away. If you don't like it here, how about you give up every single freedom afforded to you by being an American citizen? How about that? How about you live life like you are in a third world country and you have to eat bugs off the ground, you have to shit in a hole in the ground, you have to sleep on the tree, in the trees, you have to do, I don't know, I'm obviously going very extreme here. But at the end of the day, the reason she can post this video is because of the freedoms that she has for being in the USA. So you can sit there all day long and say, F the USA, but you are a complete moron. Also, in theory, She is old enough to have a job with her little fake ass tears there. She is old enough to have a job. This is going to go viral. It will move around the interwebs, the World Wide Web, and somebody is going to show it to her employer. Now, her employer may be one of the complete, left-wing, batshit crazy people who applaud it and give her a raise. But there's also the possibility that whatever person, place, thing she works for will see it and will fire her ass immediately. Somebody said, what if Lee Greenwood sees it? Look. I mean, that in and of itself is the most disrespectful thing ever. I did not like Joe Biden. I do not like Joe Biden. But I would never say F the US. Like, how stupid do you have to be? Obviously, she's young and being raised by parents who have their head so far up their ass they forgot how to parent. This woman, this child, I don't know what she is. I'm going to say she's like 19 or 20. Maybe she's older than that. Either way, she is so incredibly brainwashed by the left that she thinks that sitting in her car, which, nothing against sitting in your car, but she thinks that sitting in her car, fake crying along with some dumbass version of God Bless the USA is a good look for her. No, it's not. That's going to get your ass kicked one day. Somebody's going to see her. They're going to recognize her, and a patriot is going to step up and then stomp her. I already know it's going to happen. There's no doubt in my mind that at some point in the near future, she's going to get a butt whooping. So there's that. Not me. I don't know her. I'm just saying. But I do have a bail fund for a reason. So that was just, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, how can you be that incredibly stupid? Even for the 4 years that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were on office, and I said that they were ruining everything and they're doing all these different things that I do not agree with, it never once occurred to me to sit there. Oh, excuse me, I hiccup. To sit there and claim my distaste and dislike and whatever for the country that I live in. Like, who does that? I saw something about freedom of speech. No, I get it. Freedom of speech. You are free to speak, and I am free to call you a dumbass. And this girl is a dumbass. This girl is woke libtard who, unfortunately, one day will either have to grow up and move over to the correct side, or live her life like this. And the next thing you know, she's going to be the lady on the street corner mumbling to herself while walking in circles because she's lost her ever loving mind based off of all of this just fake, unwarranted emotion. Like, anyway, I'm trying to behave. I'm trying to be good. But every time I look at her face, I'm like that Arthur meme. Have you guys seen that Arthur meme where it's Arthur and he's standing there and his hand is by his pants and he's just like this? Every time I look at her face, I'm like, but it's fine. It's fine. If she gets hungry, we got knuckle sandwiches. That's cheesy. It's fine. Either way, that is that for her. We're not going to talk about her anymore. What we are going to talk about, last one, and then I'll let you go. So Stephen Chung, I think is how you say his name, Stephen Chung, right? He is the assistant to the president and White House director of communications. I would like to play you this small little video that he has posted on, there's a squirrel right there. Hi, squirrel. This small video that he has posted over on X, and I want you to hear it. It's a minute long. It's Mr. President Trump. Please hold.
And we got the Olympics, and then we got through Johnny, who's the boss. He's a friend of mine. We got the World Cup. I got them both. And I said, man, I won't be president. I got the Olympics and the World Cup, and I won't be president. And they're going to forget that I got them. Nobody's going to mention it because, a little bit, that's the way life is. And then they rigged the election. And then I said, you know what I'll do? I'll run again, and I'll shove it up their ass.
That's it. I just wanted you to hear that because I thought it was funny. And I like the fact that President Trump says what he thinks and what he feels, and he doesn't hold punches and all that other fun stuff. So I think it's great. Y'all, please hold. I'm telling you, whether you have ever wanted balls in your mouth or not, because that's really the only way to phrase this. You still need to try the refresher cup from Starbucks. I am not sponsored. I know a lot of y'all hate Starbucks. Generally speaking, as a company, not a fan either, but sometimes they have some really good drinks, and this is one of them. So hold on. Popping bubbles. Popping bubbles. Ugh. Anyway, very tasty. Don't forget, when you guys are done with this or whatever later on, check back for the Walmart Trump video that I will have going up, because you're going to want to see it. I promise you, especially if you like President Trump and maybe don't love Walmart, you should watch it later. So there's that. That's all, y'all. I love you immensely. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your night until we see each other again like this. It'll probably be sometime tomorrow. If you want to live stream tomorrow, I can do that. I can do in the morning, or I can do evening style like this. Y'all let me know. If you would, in the comment section when this is all said and done, just let me know if you want morning or night, because it makes it easier for me, because I'd like as many people to be part of the conversation as possible. So that's that. I love y'all immensely. Have a fabulous rest of your evening, my dudes and dudettes, and I will see you later.